One of the earliest signs of autism that my wife, specifically my wife, noticed in me many years ago was obsessive behaviour. And it's something that's massively impacted my relationships, certainly my work, my marriage over the years, my relationship with the kids, us doing stuff as a family. And I'll give you a recent example and then I'll kind of tell you about how it really impacted me at work during my employed career. We, after God knows how many years of promising ourselves we'd get a hot tub, not a posh one, we ain't got the money for that, like a lazy spa hot tub. We decided this year, 2025 was going to be the year that we'd get one. And my wife came into me on the Saturday morning and went, let's just order one, let's get one, let's just have a look and order one, after years of procrastinating over it. And then it would be a sunny day and we'd be like, let's get a hot tub, let's get a hot tub. And then we'd go to think, right, let's start looking, and then it'd start raining. Typical UK, and then we'd go off the boil with it. But this year we actually committed and we ordered it on the Saturday and it was due to be delivered on the Wednesday. And I kind of forgot about it over the weekend, and then when it came to Monday and I started work again, and these thoughts started coming into my mind about this hot tub, and it started to consume me. That how does it inflate? Will it be broken? Will it work properly? Where am I going to put it? It needs to be on a mat. The outside power that we've got isn't in the right place. I need to run some cable in. I want to be able to set it up on the day because the kids are bugging me that they want to get in it. And all these things start running over in my mind, disrupting my sleep, disrupting my work. And then on the Wednesday, when I knew it was going to be arriving between 12 and 2, I think it was, that work was written off for the day. It was written off for the day. And what it is, anything, and it's not just a hot tub, but this is an example. Anything that I can't process and settle in my mind completely consumes me until I can. So whereas my wife, for instance, she would have gone online and watched a load of YouTube videos, and that would have been her way of getting to grips with the process of this hot tub. If I do that, it makes me worse, because the physical thing isn't in front of me. So it just builds up this anxiety and the anticipation, which then really doesn't help me. I knew that it just had to arrive and I had to start. But I had so much to do that day. I was really busy. I had, as always, a million things that we needed to do instead of inflating and filling a hot tub. It arrived at about 12:15 and we took it straight out in the garden, unboxed it. Now again, my wife was saying to me, let's just do it after work. Let's just do it tonight. It doesn't get dark till 10 o'clock at night at the time. This was in July. I was like, no, it's got to be done now. I need to process this. I can't compartmentalise this and put it there, finish my work, and then come back to it. I can't do it. It's physically impossible to me. It's filling me with anxiety. My mind's just completely obsessed and consumed with this thing, this hot tub that I don't understand, that I need to process. The chemicals, like I said, will it inflate? Will it be broken? Where is it? Is it going to go in the right place? Have I laid the cable in right? So we did. And it turned out that it was the easiest thing in the world. It self-inflates. It's got a thing on the side that is built-in pump that complete. I mean, it was a genius thing. It was brilliant. We bought the starter kit. My wife had already gone online to read about where this stuff goes. Within minutes, I'd built the floor mat. We'd pumped it up and water was going in it. And once that happened, once I knew that it was in situ, I'd got the power laid, I knew that everything was safe, it looked good, and there was water going in, and I knew it was going to be 4 or 5 hours to fill, my mind just went and just completely shut off from it. And I was able at that point to then move on to something else. Work until it was full. But for that day and the 2 work days leading up to it, I was a mess because I couldn't make sense of the process. I didn't understand the process because I'd never done it before. When I was in employment, it was really bad. Now bear in mind, this is me as a self-employed person where no one's in control of my time. So if I'm completely written off for the first half of that Wednesday, it really doesn't matter. No one's going to tell me you can't do that, or you've got to be at your desk, or you've got to be working. When I'm in employment for the 26 years that I was, especially in retail, it was a nightmare. Whether it was something on my car, whether it was something at home, whether it was a relationship that was going wrong and I couldn't make sense of it, or someone wasn't coming back to me. And it was trivial tasks. It was things that, like others, as I say, other people would have just put to one side or forgotten about or not even focused on, not even been a priority in their lives. But the moment I couldn't understand it, the moment I couldn't process it, the moment I couldn't fix it myself instantly, it ruined my entire day. There were so many times when I was out on phone calls when I shouldn't have been, that I was making excuses to have to go home or to go and do something and take an early lunch or a longer lunch, or because I had to physically go and speak to someone or get something booked in so that my brain could just decompress and go, right, okay, I've sorted that now. And it was torturous. It was for years and years and years. And even now, at 45, there's less things that do that to me now. Maybe because I'm more educated, maybe because I've learned ways of kind of managing it internally. I think a big part of it is the influence of my wife and how she helps me process the seriousness of varying situations. But even now, there's still occasions like the hot tub where a day will be written off because I have to physically start whatever that process is. If it's hanging over me, I have to start it. Don't necessarily need to finish it, but for instance, if it was my car, for 16 years I've got an old car. If there was something wrong with it and I didn't know what was wrong with it, and it hadn't been diagnosed, the fault hadn't been diagnosed, and it was waiting to go somewhere, and it was really stressing me out in terms of what it might cost, the long-term impacts of this fault or whatever it was, that's a day written off completely. Whereas now, where perhaps I don't use the car as much, or I've got other things going on in my life that cause me stress and create and consume me, the car isn't so much of an issue. If the car breaks, I can kind of segment it mentally, but there's still many occasions. Client situations are another one. If there's a client situation where I know that something's on the horizon, or a client has dropped a little nugget of information somewhere and I can't figure out what they're saying, because obviously messages in text and email can be misconstrued, I'll be a mess. I'll be an absolute mess. I can't just put that to one side and think, I'll deal with that and I'll work until that happens or until they contact me. I'm a mess. I have to deal with it. I have to understand and process what's going on before I can move on. No different in relationships. When I was young with girlfriends, I was a nightmare, which is why I didn't hold on to any. Which is why I'm amazed I've been married so long. It was the same situation. If something had been said, which is why the invention of text messages was a nightmare for me, because if something had been said and then I couldn't process what had been said and I couldn't make sense of it, and then I couldn't get hold of that person, even though I was trying, they were probably on the other end of the phone thinking, Jesus Christ, this guy's a bit intense. I was done. I was a nightmare. So I think obsessions are massive for someone with autism, someone thinking that they might be autistic, because things can consume us that wouldn't consume other people. We can become completely obsessed to the point where we disrupt everything else going on in our lives and the people around us, and it's chaos, and those people around us don't really understand. And I think that's a big thing. If you've got people around, if you can educate people on why this is consuming you to such an extent and disrupting your workflow, disrupting your life, your mental health, then at least maybe there's a bit of understanding from the people around you. And my wife gets it. She gets it completely now. She's got a husband and 2 sons who are very similar in that respect, that can't put things down until they can mentally make sense of what's happening. And sometimes that takes a while. Sometimes it takes a bit of a meltdown to then come out the other side.